Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another music theory lesson. Today, we're going to be talking about lesson 7.1 and 7.2, which is on dynamics and ties and slurs. So take a look at dynamics with me. Dynamics are markings that tell you how loud or soft to play or sing a piece of music. Here are the most common dynamic markings with their names and translations. So when we're talking about dynamics, we're going to be talking about Italian terms, which we have right here. These are all in Italian. We have the symbol, and then we have the English translation, okay? So pianissimo in Italian literally is translated in English to very soft. And the symbol that we put with that is piano, or pianissimo, the double P there. Now, piano is the symbol with just a P, and that means soft. Mezzo piano, mezzo means medium or moderately, and piano we already know means soft, so that literally translates to medium soft. Now we have mezzo forte, so we know mezzo means medium and forte means loud in Italian, so that's medium loud. Forte with just an F means loud, and then fortissimo, which is two F's, means very loud. So if you can remember two terms, the two most important terms are piano and forte. And if you can remember those two terms, you should be able to get your way through all of your dynamics, all the way from very soft to very loud. So piano means soft, and we can add prefixes or suffixes to this to make it mean medium loud, medium soft, or very soft, or very loud, okay? So if we add the term issimo or the suffix issimo to either of those terms, for fortissimo, that means very loud. If we add issimo to pianissimo to make that term, that means very soft. And then mezzo, as we've already discussed, means medium. So if you know two of your terms, it should be relatively easy to remember the rest. Now, whenever we go from one dynamic to the next, sometimes it's immediate shift where we're going straight from forte to very soft. So pianissimo. And other times we take some time to gradually move from one dynamic to the next. Whenever we gradually move from one dynamic to the next, if we're gradually getting louder, we have a symbol that looks like this, where it starts small and then gets bigger. That term is crescendo, which in Italian means gradually get louder. That can either be shown by this symbol right here, or you may see it abbreviated as CRESC period. Those mean the exact same thing. They both are telling you to gradually get louder. Now, the next one, decrescendo, which means to gradually get softer. There's another term that we use that means the exact same thing in Italian as well, and that's diminuendo. So you can use diminuendo or decrescendo, and you can also abbreviate those with DECRESC or DIM period, okay? And those both mean to gradually get softer, and the symbol starts big and then gets smaller. So you could go from like a mezzo forte to a piano or pianissimo there. And for a crescendo, you could start with soft and then work all the way to very loud. Okay, so that is how our dynamics work. So take a second now to look at 1A and 1B, circle and define all of those dynamic markings in the next two lines. Let's do 1A together really quick. So mezzo piano, MP, we know that symbol matches mezzo piano, which means medium soft. This symbol starts small and then it gets bigger, so we know that that is a crescendo. Forte is one of our main two terms, and that means loud. So we're gradually getting louder, and then we're going to gradually get softer. So I'm going to give both options, which could be diminuendo or decrescendo, which means to gradually get softer. And then we end with piano, which means soft. Okay? You can do 1B on your own. We'll probably also look at that one tomorrow in class. Now, do the opposite. You're going to have music and you need to write the dynamics in based on their instructions. So for number 2, start very soft. So we know soft is P and very, pianissimo, is going to be double P. And you're going to gradually get louder until the last measure. So we're going to draw a crescendo there. And then our last measure is going to be very loud, which means it's going to be fortissimo. Okay, so those are your dynamic basics. There are 8 or 9 terms on there that you need to know and be able to give us the Italian term, give us the translation, and be able to identify the symbol. So it's kind of a 3-for-1 in a lot of those terminologies. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is a similar musical terminology and symbol. It's going to be called ties and slurs. Now, the tricky thing with ties and slurs, they look exactly the same. They basically are just like this little arch that goes from one note to another note. So ties and slurs are both curved lines that are drawn above or below the notes. They are drawn on the opposite side from the stems. Remember, the stems are the little lines that come off the notes. So it's always going to be on the opposite side of the stem, and they usually make like a little smiley face, like you can see here. It's kind of a wide smiley face like that. Okay, now the difference between a tie and a slur is the following. A tie connects 2 notes that are the same pitch. Okay, so they are the same note or the same pitch. And they're going to add the 2 note values together. So right here, we have F and F, and we're going to, basically that tie is going to add a plus sign between those 2 note values, which means that we're going to hold this for 4 beats. The next one, we have a whole note, which is 4. This is tied to the same note, which was a G. That's going to get 5 beats. Then we've got this one, and this is most commonly when a tie happens, is over a bar line, okay? And that tie over the bar line means that you're going to hold that note over into the next measure. So that's going to be 1 plus 2 for a total of 3 beats. So a tie adds the note values together and is on the same pitch. Now, a slur connects more than 2 notes or 2 notes that are on different pitches and means to sing or play the notes under the slur smoothly or legato. So we see this a lot whenever we have text in a song. So if we were going to do, I love to sing slurs, they're fun, like that. What this slur is telling me right here is that I'm going to sing this note all the way to there and keep it nice and connected whenever we have the same word or syllable on that note. That's when it's most commonly used in choral music. It also is very important whenever you want to sing just them connected, even if it is not the same word. So we want to make it nice and smooth. And the opposite of legato is staccato, which means short and detached. So if we want to connect those notes and make it smooth, those are the 2 most common ways that that's going to happen. So I would speak this rhythm. I love to sing slurs, they're fun. And then I cut off there, okay? So that is normally when you'll see slurs is when the same word or syllable is attached to multiple notes. Notice that it happens to 2 or more notes that are supposed to be sung legato or connected, okay? So tie, same note. Slurs, different notes, but they can also, the important thing to know about a slur is that they can also do something like this. So if I were to go back up and this slur were to extend to there, that is also a slur because, if I were to change that rhythmic value so it makes sense, because we're still combining multiple notes together. So a tie will not have multiple different notes or multiple different pitches in it, but a slur does, okay? So let's take a look at 4A and see if we can tell the difference. So this one right off the bat, 2 different pitches. We know that that is a slur. This is the most common type of tie over a bar line. So it combines those two values together. Right here, we see 3 different pitches. We automatically know that's going to be a slur, and we're going to sing that legato. Next one, 2 different pitches. So that's going to be a slur as well. And then here, again, there you have it, the tie over the bar line. Okay, so that is our theory lesson for today over your dynamics. Memorize those, and then you also have your slurs. And before I let you leave for today, there's something other important that you need to know about dynamics. So we have fortissimo and pianissimo, but the cool thing is that we can add as many varies as we want by just adding another EC into that terminology. So if I were to want to say, I want to sing very, very, very loudly, that would be fortissi, issimo. And if I wanted to be very, 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 very quiet, I could do pianissi, issimo. And that would be piano, issimo. Now, normally you're not going to get 5 P's or 5 F's next to each other. Typically 3 or 4 is the maximum. But if ever you see like 2, that's going to be pianissimo or fortissimo, but you can also add just another EC to that, and it adds a varies. So very, very, very loud or very, very, very soft. That is all we have for you today. Make sure that you are memorizing these before you come to class tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.